Right now, as you're watching this video, there's a parallel financial universe operating right alongside yours. A system so fundamental to how wealth actually works that once you understand it, you'll wonder how you ever missed it. The ultra wealthy don't just know about this system, they live in it, they breathe it, and they've been using it to multiply their fortunes while everyone else pays taxes on every dollar they earn. In previous videos, I broke down the fundamental difference between how business owners and wealth builders think about money versus how employees and consumers think about money. Two completely different rule books, two entirely separate games. And today, I'm going to show you the exact playbook that separates generational wealth from paycheck to paycheck living. What I'm about to share with you is what I call the infinite wealth loop, a system that allows your assets to multiply faster than the tax code can touch them. And when you understand this one loophole in the tax system that I'm going to reveal today, you'll have access to the same wealth building machine that's been reserved for the ultra rich for decades. And make sure you are subscribed, because this video is part of a series that's pulling back the curtain on how money really works at the highest levels. Here's the core principle that changes everything. The wealthy build fortunes by never selling their money-producing assets. They don't cash out. They don't trigger taxable events. Instead, they use those assets as collateral to acquire even more assets. That's the foundation of the owner's mindset, a perpetual cycle that never hits the reset button. Now here's the reality most people miss. Wealthy dynasties execute this strategy through three primary vehicles: businesses, stocks, and real estate. But if you are starting without millions already in play, real estate is your gateway. It's the most accessible entry point because real estate delivers four powerful advantages simultaneously: consistent cash flow, the power of leverage, natural appreciation, and tax benefits that simply don't exist in the W-2 world. Let me walk you through the basic model and show you exactly where the critical mindset shift occurs. You purchase an investment property, let's say a single family home. Every month that property generates modest cash flow, perhaps $200 initially, but beyond that monthly income, you're getting something even more valuable: depreciation. The IRS lets you write off a percentage of that property's value every single year, even if the property is brand new and actually increasing in value. On top of that, the property itself appreciates over time, growing in market value. Now, watch what happens. Let's say you bought that property for $300,000. A few years pass and it's now worth $375,000. You've gained $75,000 in equity. And here's where the average middle-class mindset person makes the fatal mistake. They think like an employee. They see that $75,000 gain and immediately think, it's time to sell and collect my profit. So they sell. They pocket their $75,000. But immediately, the IRS shows up with its hand out. That $75,000 is classified as a capital gain, and depending on your tax bracket, you're handing over 15 to 20% to the government. Your $75,000 just became roughly $60,000 or $64,000. You pay the tax man, take your remaining cash, and you've just lost your income-producing asset. Your wealth-building engine has been shut down. You're back at square one. This is the trap that keeps the middle class on the treadmill or on the hamster wheel for life. Every time you finally make progress, the system takes its cut and sends you back to the beginning. The wealthy understand something fundamental. Selling equals taxation. So let me show you how someone who truly understands the game would handle that exact same scenario. They wouldn't sell that property. Not a chance. Instead, they'd borrow against it. And here's the crucial principle you need to understand. Borrowed money is not considered income. Since it's not income, it's not taxable. It's classified as debt. Let's run the numbers. When they initially bought that $300,000 property, they secured a mortgage for $240,000 with a 20% down payment of $60,000. Over several years, their tenants have been covering the mortgage payments, bringing the loan balance down to $210,000. The property has appreciated to $375,000. Most lenders will allow you to borrow up to 75% of your property's current value through a cash-out refinance. 75% of $375,000 is $281,250. That means they can extract approximately $70,000 in completely tax-free cash. That money flows directly into their bank account without the IRS ever laying their grimy hands on it. Now, I know what you're thinking, but that's debt. That's risky. Here's what the wealthy understand that most people don't. They're not afraid of debt, but they are terrified of taxable events. And as long as your assets generate enough cash flow to service the debt, it's not a burden. It's a strategic tool. They take that borrowed $70,000 and acquire another property. That second property generates its own cash flow, comes with its own depreciation benefits, and appreciates over time. When that property builds enough equity, they borrow against it too. Simply rinse and repeat. This is the wealth builder mindset in action. Buy, grow, borrow, rinse and repeat. It's a relentless compounding cycle. They build an expanding portfolio of cash flowing, appreciating assets, and they do it all without ever triggering a taxable event through selling. This is what's known as the borrow until death strategy. And it's exactly why billionaire CEOs like Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk take a $1 annual salary. They don't need traditional income. They have billions in company stock. They simply borrow against that stock, using it as tax-free liquidity to fund their lifestyles and investments. No sale, no massive tax bill, pure wealth builder's playbook. And here's the part that seems almost unfair. When they eventually pass beyond this physical world, their families inherit those assets with what's called a stepped-up basis. If those family members decide to sell, they owe zero taxes on decades of accumulated gains. The wealth momentum keeps building, transferring across generations, avoiding the tax reset at every turn. And the most frustrating part, it's completely legal. It's not a loophole in the sense of something shady. It's the system working exactly as designed. It's a framework built to preserve wealth within families, compounding generation after generation. For a long time, this system felt like a members-only club. You needed millions in capital or significant stock holdings to even get in the game. The average W-2 earner was locked out, stuck in a completely different paradigm. Earn income, get taxed, spend what's left. An endless cycle designed to prevent you from ever accumulating and leveraging significant capital. Think about this. The average American works 3 to 4 months every year just to cover their tax obligation. That's how much of your wealth building potential is being stripped away before you even have a chance to deploy it. The gap between these two paths isn't about intelligence. It's not about work ethic. It's about access. Access to information and access to strategies. And while there are multiple forms of ownership that can get you into this game, real estate remains the most accessible vehicle for the everyday person. You don't need billions in stock options. You just need to understand the system. For decades, this divide felt permanent. The wealthy compounded their fortunes using these rules, while the working class paid their tax bills year after year, unknowingly funding a system they couldn't even see. Until recently, this game was reserved for people who already had millions. But something shifted. Something that suddenly gave W-2 earners a legitimate pathway to generate the capital needed to launch their own borrow until death strategy. What changed? The answer is a powerful provision in the tax code that was quietly reinstated this year, buried in a massive piece of legislation. While the media focused on the political controversy, they completely missed what this actually delivered: a legitimate supercharger for building your initial asset base and a new pathway for millions of Americans to keep significantly more of what they earn. Here's how it works. Short-term rentals. Properties like Airbnbs operate under a completely different set of tax rules that most people don't understand. When you own one and actively manage it, meeting what the IRS calls material participation requirements, the tax treatment is fundamentally different from a traditional long-term rental. This distinction changes everything. When you're actively managing a short-term rental, the losses from that property, paper losses created through something called bonus depreciation, can offset your regular W-2 income. And bonus depreciation isn't some minor tax benefit. This is the ability to take years, potentially decades worth of depreciation deductions and claim them all in year one. Let that sink in. Instead of slowly depreciating your property over 39 years, you can front load a massive deduction and make a significant portion of your W-2 income disappear on paper, dramatically reducing your tax liability this year. This is what we call offsetting your taxes. The taxes aren't eliminated forever. You're essentially deferring them into the future. Think of it as an interest-free loan from the government that you can use to acquire more assets and fuel your wealth building machine. You use it to enter the borrow until death game. In my opinion, actively managing a short-term rental is the most powerful tax strategy available to W-2 earners because it allows you to immediately eliminate your largest outgoing expense, your tax burden, and redirect that capital into your own financial engine. Let me show you how this unlocks the entire borrow until death strategy. This isn't just about saving on taxes. This is about generating the initial capital to build a perpetual wealth machine. Consider a typical W-2 earner making $100,000 annually. Their federal tax obligation is typically between $18,000 and $22,000 each year. Now, they acquire a $450,000 short-term rental property. They actively manage it, meeting the IRS requirements. They get a cost segregation study completed, which maximizes what qualifies for bonus depreciation. This accelerates the depreciation schedule and creates a substantial paper loss in year one. As a general benchmark, you can often depreciate approximately 25% of the property's value immediately. In this case, that's $112,500. That $112,500 loss now offsets their W-2 income. Their taxable income of $100,000 drops to zero. That $18,000 to $22,000 tax bill they were expecting, gone, eliminated, deferred into future years. They even have an additional $12,500 in losses they can carry forward to offset next year's income. Instead of sending $18,000 to $22,000 to the IRS, they retain that capital. Now the question becomes, what do you do with that money? The answer is strategic deployment. You take that tax savings, combine it with the cash flow from your first property, and use it as a down payment or renovation capital for another asset, potentially a second short-term rental. And that second property, as long as you're actively managing it, it also qualifies for bonus depreciation, generating additional paper losses that can offset even more of your W-2 income or be carried forward into future years. This is when your flywheel begins spinning. This is when you enter the borrow until death game. Here's what you need to remember, because these are the rules that govern wealth creation. Cash flow builds equity. Equity unlocks tax-free borrowing power. And borrowed capital acquires more assets. More assets create more deductions, supercharged by bonus depreciation. More deductions eliminate tax obligations. Eliminated taxes means more deployable capital. More capital means acquiring even more assets. That is the zero tax flywheel. It's the engine that powers generational wealth. If this strategy resonates with you and you want to see more about personal finance strategies, stay tuned for my next video where I'll show you exactly how and why wealth explodes exponentially once you start going down the rabbit hole. If this added value, hit that like button and subscribe. And peace be with you, and I'll see you in the next one.